Our top story at 6, cop crashes. Memphis police have been in 438 of them in the past year, and they were at fault for 150 of those. Thanks for joining us. I'm Richard Ransom.
And I'm Pepper Baker. So do the math. That's more than one crash per day. And tonight, ABC 24 is seeking solutions about how MPD is trying to be proactive behind the wheel. ABC 24's Desmond Nugent joins us in studio tonight. Desmond, police took you to their training course today. What are they telling you about all of those crashes?
0, which is the ideal number, but it's just not realistic. Second Lieutenant Lawrence Wright with MPD tells me officers drive 20 to 40,000 miles more than the average driver each year. He tells me crashes are inevitable, and that's why they're always trying to freshen up on their skills. It's not the type of scene you would expect, but crashes involving Memphis police cruisers are happening nearly every day.
I even had several that have ran my stop sign while I was out, so they don't bother to follow the own rules of the road, much less anything else that they tend to stop us for.
Rebecca Hahn is a Memphis Uber driver who believes both MPD officers and regular drivers should be held accountable if they are driving too fast.
Find a little bit more and possibly also have to retake the driving test.
Second Lieutenant Lawrence Wright with MPD says they are making sure the proper training is being enforced during basic training before officers are on the road.
As we go through the serpentine,
Officers are mandated 54 hours of driving training. That includes defense driving and emergency vehicle operation through a 4-minute timed obstacle course.
the rules is if you hit 2 cones, it adds 5 seconds to your time. If you hit 3 cones, you are disqualified. If you miss any obstacle, you're disqualified. And the course is timed, which will allow them 4 minutes to drive this course.
Wright says they do take serious matters if an officer is at fault. He says before that can happen, their special traffic investigation squad comes out to the scene. Then a review board determines if the officer is or is not at fault. That officer then is expected to attend a hearing with their commanding officer.
Every crash that's at fault, they have to come through 8 hours of additional training off each crash they are at fault at.
Wright says depending on the severity of the crash and if the officer is facing criminal charges, they could be fired.
Depending on how many crashes they had before, how bad was the crash, and the driving matrix, that depends on the severity of, do they get a reprimand or do they get suspended days without pay.
Second Lieutenant Wright says while more than 60% of the crashes are not their fault, he does advise regular drivers to share the road and be on the lookout for police lights and sirens. Wright also tells me they are looking to decrease the number of crashes. In the studio, I'm Desmond Nugent.